From the 1011 Now streaming studio, this is The Night Beat.
Sponsored by Pella Windows and Doors of Lincoln.
Good evening, I'm Danielle Shenk with your headlines for Thursday, June 26th. While Lincoln saw spotty showers overnight, Grand Island faced a flood emergency. More than 7 inches of rain fell in 24 hours, that's according to the National Weather Service, prompting a state of emergency and hundreds of calls for help. Torrential rain swamped streets, homes, and businesses, especially in the northwest part of town. Police asked people to stay home after receiving more than 100 calls in 1 hour. Some businesses arrived to find their workplaces under several inches of standing water.
Pretty catastrophic, to be very honest. So the entire clinic drywall will have to be removed. We're right now, our first step is getting everything that's electronic lifted out of the water, salvaging computers, servers, x-ray equipment, tables.
Thankfully, no injuries were reported, but officials are still warning drivers and residents to avoid floodwaters, which could be contaminated or deceptively strong. Officials say the storm brought the second highest single-day rainfall in Grand Island's history. For more pictures and video of the flooding that's being compared to the devastating storms of 2005, check out our website or app. Now to a disturbing case out west. A 29-year-old rancher in Chadron is facing 57 felony counts after authorities found 56 dead cattle on his property. A veterinarian believes they died from malnutrition and had been decomposing for months. Dylan McGannon is also accused of killing a woman's puppy and sending her threatening messages, including a photo of the apparently shot dog. Back in Lincoln, a road rage incident ended with a gun being drawn. Deputies say 39-year-old Jacob Gum of Illinois pointed a handgun at a semi-driver near Highways 2 and 77 yesterday afternoon. He allegedly acted after the driver kept cutting him off. Gum is now jailed on a $3,000 bond. Turning to a story of survival and advocacy, David Krupa, whose stalking ordeal was featured in Netflix's Lover, Stalker, Killer, is now using his experience to help others. After his girlfriend Carrie Farver vanished in 2012, Krupa received more than 15,000 threatening messages from her imposter, another woman he dated, Shanna Gollier, who was later convicted of Farver's murder, even though her body was never found. Krupa recently became the first male keynote speaker in 38 years at Omaha's Women's Center for Advancement.
I'm not the stereotype for somebody who is being abused or stalked or whatever. So I think it speaks to the idea that nobody's really safe.
He now advocates for the WCA, calling it a lifeline for those living a nightmare they can't wake up from. Gollier is serving a life sentence at the Nebraska Correctional Center for Women. And with a July 1st deadline approaching, the state's Medical Cannabis Commission has adopted emergency rules to get the program off the ground, but the move isn't without controversy. The rules were approved hours after being released without any public comment. They cover growing, transporting, and dispensing medical cannabis, but critics say access is already being restricted, including only 1 dispensary allowed per judicial district. The state has 12, a 1,000-foot buffer from schools, hospitals, and churches, and bans on raw cannabis flower, smoking, vaping, and edibles,
which is exclusively part of Statute 437, the Patient Protection Act. So huge problems there.
Jim Wilson with the Nebraska Pharmacy Association also raised concerns about patient safety.
A pharmacist needs to advise that patient on potential other effects of it, on their behavior and so forth.
The commission is now taking public comments through July 15th, with permanent rules due by October. Meanwhile, in Washington, Republicans' so-called One Big Beautiful bill hit a snag. The Senate parliamentarian ruled a key Medicaid provision violates chamber rules. The proposal would shift more costs to states to balance out Trump's 2017 tax cuts, but it can't pass under a simple majority. Lawmakers now have to regroup. And now to some good news here at home. Lincoln's Planning Commission has cleared the way for People's City Mission to expand. The mission plans to build a new women's and children's shelter south of Q Street that will house up to 300 people. This was the final step needed before the building permit process can begin. And finally tonight, a big honor for Nebraska Volleyball's new head coach. Danny Busboom Kelly will light the torch for the Cornhusker State Games opening ceremony on Thursday, July 10th outside Pinnacle Bank Arena. And ESPN Sports Center will be in Lincoln on July 15th to cover the action. Rounding out your night beat is a check of the 7-day forecast.
You've been listening to The Night Beat.
Sponsored by Pella Windows and Doors of Lincoln.
Watch, listen, and stream on the 1011 app on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts.